Howdy y'all, Fuzzy Biker here. Welcome to Throwback Thursday, and look what we got today. Check that hot rod out. That is a 1959 BSA DBO 34GS Gold Star. Look at that, isn't that neat? Look at that sticker, the gigantic single cylinder engine, the chrome on the side of the tanks. This thing has just got all kinds of really interesting things. I've been just sitting here going over it. There's a lot of stuff here that's very unique to me, very interesting. So let's start with the engine. Well, first off, let's start by saying Gold Star, or BSA, was a really hot item, 30s, 40s, 50s, and this was kind of a race bike of its time. You know, the big single cylinder, air cooled. Check this out. You know, just a really interesting engine. Big single carburetor right here. I don't know if you can see them down in there. You can see the throat moving maybe. No air cleaner at all. Dry sump engine. This is a tack drive here, but anyway, it was a single cylinder 499cc overhead valve, cams down here somewhere. It was ran with a magneto, a Lucas magneto. This one has a magneto and a generator stacked on top of it. Like I said, dry sump. Kickstart only, separate transmission. I'm assuming a 4-speed. I couldn't find that information. Very mechanical kind of looking thing. I mean, I love that kind of thing in a bike. This brake is different than the other ones I've seen on these older British bikes. It's got this slotted area here with the fins, and then these holes on this side. I wonder if there's supposed to be screens on those. But you know, the booted forks. I think this is a horn. Well, I can't find wires running to it, but very interesting. There should be I don't know if these are the push rods running up to the valves. Here's a compression release right here. This thing right here. I just love this. I mean, it's a very interesting looking motorcycle. The motorcycle was supposed to put out about 40 horsepower. And these were dynoed at the factory, and the dyno sheet was actually sent with the motorcycle, which is quite a deal. It's supposed to weigh about 380 pounds dry. Have a top speed between 95 and 100 miles an hour. One of the options you get was what they call an alloy tank, and I don't know if that's what this is or not. But and the tank was supposed to be between 5 and 6 gallons, and that just doesn't look like like it would hold that much fuel. So I'm not sure about the tank on this, but you know, isn't that just gorgeous? The big BSA placard here, the chrome, the nice paint. I'm sure it's been repainted. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous looking thing. The reading I did find said that in this year they had the 190 millimeter drum brake on the front. But anyway, going back to this carburetor, it's supposed to be an 1.5 inch bore Amal carburetor, and I thought that was interesting. And one of the things that I've seen on big velocity stack on that side, one of the things I've seen on this before is this big thing here, and I always thought that was a fuel filter. So I guess what that is a remote bowl, and it's supposed to minimize frothing. They would rubber mount it or something like that. Just kind of see it there, but very, very different from a modern day thing. Interesting indeed. You know, check that out. Just a fuel line here going into the bowl, another fuel line here going into the bowl. Same thing, ends are right here. And I suppose this is where it goes to the carburetor. But I'm assuming the top one is the generator and the bottom one's the magneto. There is a, well, we'll get to this later, but a very interesting thing. You know, the clutch is right here. Just very mechanical, very neat looking thing. Speaking of the transmission, I guess when you could order these, you could order different gear ratios for it, things like that. But I like it a lot. Very interesting looking. Okay, so let's talk about, let's just kind of look this thing over. This is an oil tank on this side. I'm assuming there's like a toolkit or something underneath on this side. Here's the very mechanical brake, you know, all the linkage, and you know, this has been chromed. I'm sure it wasn't from the factory. There's the brake light switch. The rear brake is in this narrow little hub, which is only, you know, maybe 2 inches wide. There you can see the hub. The adjusters for the tightening the chain right there, push against those things. You know, this model had shocks. The earlier ones didn't have shocks. I think it was like 53 or so they went to shock. where they went to swing arm rear end. Of course, it has a center stand and a side stand. Just a really good looking bike. Look at these metal, nice shiny metal fenders. But, just beautiful, isn't it? That seat, when I was looking at on the internet, that was a very distinctive seat. You could really spot that right off. Nice little wave in it. But okay, coming up here, clutch right here. This is probably a compression release. I think a headlight and a horn, of course. This is for the timing. I mussed with that. You can see it moving down there. And then this is the choke right here. Throttle, of course, and the front brake, mechanical front brake right there. And it looks like the adjustments for the front brake are all on the brake itself. Yeah, right down there. Right there. Very interesting. Something interesting also about this are the gauges. These are those chronometer gauges. And so they didn't work like a normal cup around a magnet kind of thing. They had some sort of, I'm gonna have to figure out how that works, but both the tach and the speedo were that way. Kind of like a clockwork is what they say. I'll have to check into that. Amp gauge up there. This is a steering dampener. This is a sign that says oil. Something interesting too is this fuel filler. And I was looking at this tube. Well, what's this tube? Well, I got looking at it. It's hollow on the end here, so I'm thinking it's a vent tube for the, you know, and to open the gas, you flip this open. That does it right there. Close it, you push it down and crank her back down. This here, you pop this off, and there's a big bolt in there, and that's how you take the tank off. Really interesting machine. And I think I pointed that already. This is the mechanical tach drive up there, up here, right up to the tach, right there. Here's the tach. There is no red line marked on it, and I couldn't find a red line in any of the reading. But look at that. Very good looking, from my point of view, very good looking business area right there. You imagine this back in the day, 40 horsepower, 400 pounds, less than 400 pounds. I really bet it was a lot of fun to ride. And like I said, they were supposed to go 95, 100 miles an hour. And then there were race versions of this, you know, without the headlight and all the other, you know, magneto, without the generator and things like that. So, very interesting. I was looking at this, you know, it says BSA down here. This is all safety wired. I'm not sure what this adjust here. Kind of an interesting thing. Something that caught my eye too was this. There's a little chrome panel over here. Like a beauty plate of some sort. Very interesting. If you all know anything about that, please post in the comments below. But just, yeah, just really nifty. I just like the way it looks. 1959. Yep, 1959. 500 cc's, like I said, $499. This one even had rear foot pegs. A lot of chroming has been done here, hasn't it? You know, the brake parts, this thing, I don't know if this was chrome originally from there. These little bars here. I wonder, anyway, very neat looking bike in very good shape. Again, like I said, I don't know if these are supposed to have screens over them. Anyway, I like it a lot. I like it a lot. And yeah, what else can we point out here? The shocks in the back. Anyway, very good profile, isn't it? I wish we had more room in here, but I wish we could run it for you. Oh, look at this. The kind of a tapered cone here on the top of the fork. Just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. Striking, actually. Check this out here. Get your hand back here between the, you know, the primary cover. Very nice indeed. I like it. Plate card. Every little detail has been kind of checked out and looked over, hasn't it? This one said some work done to it. Very nice indeed. All right. Well, hey, I'm Fuzzy Biker. I'm back here in the magic room at Baxter Cycle, BaxterCycle.com. They've got all kinds of Triumphs and Nortons and, you know, BSAs and Ariels and Royal Enfields and you name it, they got it. And thanks for joining us for Throwback Thursday, and we'll see you next week. Wahoo!